Hello, everyone. Welcome back to your regularly scheduled news episode of Who the Hell Asked. Byron, alongside Slade.
How's it going, everybody?
Yeah, thanks, Nintendo, for keeping us away from the news for a hot minute. And there was a lot of news, a lot of big news as well this week, huh, Slade?
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and start off with the biggest story of the week. Jim Ryan, longtime CEO of PlayStation and Sony, is retiring this upcoming spring.
Yeah, so Jim Ryan announced on the 28th that, or Sony announced on the 28th that Jim Ryan's retiring, which I think is it's a little bit of a shocker to everyone. Because they were like, oh, he's going to be CEO for a while. No, guess fucking not. In the meantime, Sony's president, COO, and CFO Hiroki Totoki will assume the role of chairman of Sony Interactive Entertainment as of October, so probably in just a couple of days from now. Effective April 1st, 2024, Mr. Totoki will be appointed interim CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment while he continues his current role. While they search for a successor. Because obviously Mr. Totoki has a lot on his plate, being the Sony, the main man at Sony itself, not just the PlayStation division. But
Yeah. So, pretty fascinating stuff. Jim Ryan's obviously overseeing a lot of success over at Sony.
Yeah,
not only from like the technology side of things, from like televisions, all that, but also the fact that the PlayStations have been probably the most financially successful consoles, on the market since their inception.
Yeah, and like it's exploded even bigger under Jim Ryan because they went from the PS3, which did like it did 90 million, but it had its own setbacks to like the 100 million, 100 plus million for the PS4. The incredible sales going on for the PS5, squashing the Xbox 2-1 right now.
Pretty much. And I think that's par for the course, too.
Yeah, and he's been there with Sony since 1994. So almost 30 years.
Yeah, kind of insane.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah. And it makes sense. It's like the Martinet retirement, where he's getting up there in age, and apparently Jim Ryan lives in Europe, but has been traveling to the U.S., of course, because that's where Sony's headquarters are now. So it makes sense, but it's still a little bit of a shocking retirement, though I guess he didn't want to be part of the development for the PS6, because you have to imagine that's probably at least in the planning phases at this juncture of the game. So
you would think so, but I don't know. I feel like this console generation is going to last a bit longer.
True.
Due to the long development times of games and whatnot, but we're here to talk about the news and not speculation. So let's go ahead and go on to our next topic here.
Speaking of news, we have an update on the most popular story here on the channel, the entire Unity runtime shit show. And we have an update from Mark Whitten, the leader of Unity Create, which includes the Unity engine and editor teams. And so here are the notes. The Unity Personal plan will remain free, and there will be no runtime fee for games built on Unity Personal. We will be increasing the cap from 100,000 to 200,000, and we will remove the requirement to use the made-with Unity splash screen. I assume you have seen that before. Slade?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have indeed.
No game with less than $1 million USD in trailing 12-month revenue will be subject to the fee. For creators on Unity Pro and Enterprise, there is also going to be some changes based on their feedback. With that being, the runtime fee only applying beginning with the next LTS version of Unity shipping in 2024 and beyond, and developers' games that are currently shipped and projects currently working on will not be included unless you choose to upgrade them to the new version of Unity. We'll make sure that you can stay on the terms applicable for the version of Unity that you are using. And for games that are subject to the runtime fee, you're given a choice, either a 2.5% revenue share or the calculated amount based on the number of new people engaging with your game each month. Both numbers are self-reported. You will always be billed the lesser I'm out. So some great changes for developers, but it's too late.
Yeah, a little bit too late. They kind of destroyed all the public trust in them. So, like, long story short, it's just not. It's not. I mean, this is great news, right? I'm
Yeah.
glad that they rolled back a lot of their really, really dumb ideas. But like Byron said, it's too late.
Yeah.
All the trust is gone.
Yeah, it's too late now. People are switching to Epic Games and the Unreal Engine, and we'll get to those guys in a minute. But also, developers have been switching to open source engines like Godot. And speaking of Godot, a developer that has, you could say, fuck you money in Relogic, the makers of Terraria, one of the biggest indie games of all time, couple weeks ago put out a statement saying that they will be donating $100,000 to both Godot Game Engine and FNA Game Engine. And also that Relogic will be sponsoring each game engine with $1,000 a month moving forward, with the ask that they remain good people, keep doing all they can to make engines powerful and approachable for developers everywhere. Wow, that's huge.
Absolutely. So,
I didn't think Terraria was making that much money still. I know it's a big game, but like, is Terraria still that played? It must be. They're throwing around this kind of cash.
Or at the very least, they still have cash on hand from previous revenue. This is fantastic news. Obviously, I think it's great that we're seeing some of these other engines, get a real shot.
Yeah.
Because, competition is important. I think competition's the real reason why Unity can't afford to, with all the public backlash, to just roll out their changes anyway and tell people to deal with it.
Yeah, like, obviously some developers will stick with their own engines, which they're probably right to do in a way, considering all of this news. Obviously, open source engines are great because, like, no one person owns the code, so you can fork the engine if you want to. So that's also a pretty good thing to have out there, of course, alongside the closed source engines. And just yeah, glad Unity rolled back the changes, but maybe you shouldn't have had the changes in the first place. I get you were desperate for money, but maybe you shouldn't have been acquiring as much. I don't know. Speaking of fucking companies that are acquiring a lot of things here, Epic Games is acquiring some layoffs at Epic. 16% of Epic employees will be laid off. They are divesting Bandcamp, which is the music platform for indie bands, and spinning off most of Super Awesome, which is like some youth like digital product or something. But
yeah,
because like and I want to find the quote here. It was like something with like while Fortnite is starting to grow again, the growth is driven primarily by content creators, blah, blah, blah. Oh, for a while now, we've been spending way more money than we earn investing in the next evolution of Epic and growing Fortnite as a fucking metaverse-inspired ecosystem for the creator. Okay, but ignoring the evolution of Epic, the spending way more money than we earn. That's an interesting quote, isn't it, Slade?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, there's the legal situation going on in court where they're getting absolutely reamed, it seems like.
Yep.
And they're probably losing a lot of money on that.
Yep.
There's also these huge IPs and characters being acquired in Fortnite. Said this multiple times. I think that probably takes a lot of money to get all those IP.
Well, not only for Fortnite, but also Fall Guys, Rocket League, those big games. Here's another one. Here's the third triple whammy, probably. The Epic Game Store. That's probably costing them quite a bit of money trying to get those exclusivity deals and them probably not paying off too well. The free games that is literally the only reason people use Epic unless they want to play like Kingdom Hearts on PC.
Yeah, but I think that's still the only place to play Kingdom Hearts on PC as well,
Well,
outside of, emulation.
yeah, official way to play it on PC. But yeah, I think those three things combined, and probably the economy to an extent, but like those are the three big main triple whammies that are causing this. And speaking of a good old Fortnite here, uh in response, not in response, but alongside this, they also increased some prices in Fortnite in the Czech Republic, Denmark, Eurozone countries, whatever the hell that is supposed to mean, just or like Europe, I guess. Hungary, Japan, Norway, Poland, Romania, Sweden, Turkey, and of course, America, the USA. So, I have a price comparison for the VBucks bundles. Slade, you occasionally play Fortnite, and you know all about the VBucks bundles.
Yeah, it's how you buy the cosmetic skins for all the like characters and emotes and dances and all that.
Yeah, so
really popular.
They upped the price for some of their packs, like the Extinction Code pack and the Untasked Courier. They upped the price of the Gifted Battle Pass to now $8.54, but the four big things that they increased in price. So now, instead of paying what used to be $7.99, you are now paying $8.99 for 1,000 V-Bucks. For 2,800 V-Bucks, you used to pay $19.99. You're now paying $22.99 for 2,800 V-Bucks. For 5,000 V-Bucks, you used to pay $31.99, but now you are paying $36.99. And for 13,500 V-Bucks, you used to pay $79.99. You are now paying $89.99. So some of these price increases, whew boy, right?
Yeah, absolutely insane. So, it's just Epic on both ends, laying off employees, increasing prices, trying to do whatever they can to, draw right up their bottom line better for their investors.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It definitely sucks.
It does, and
but,
that's not the only one.
Unfortunately, it's the nature of things.
Yeah, but that ain't all, folks. So we have Sega Sammy. You know Sega Sammy, Slade. They had a big game cancellation in Hyenas, their team shooter games as a service, live service.
Kind of like a looter shooter
thing, yeah, team-based looter shooter. Like
it's probably similar to stuff like Destiny without the PVM.
Yeah, but yeah, that game canceled. Yeah, that game fucking canceled. Also,
I mean, generated zero buzz, so not surprising.
Yeah. Also, Hyenas got canceled, and also Sega Sammy will be implementing reduction of various fixed expenses at several group companies, centered on creative assembly. We expect to incur one-time expenses related to reduction of fixed expenses, which in real people speak means people are getting fucking laid off.
Yep, more layoffs.
Which is depressing. It's mainly coming from the European studios, as Sega notes. The business environment surrounding the consumer area rapidly changing, reactionary decline from stay-at-home demands during COVID-19, economic downturn due to inflation in Europe, and profitability being lowered in Europe has caused all these changes. And I'm a little surprised that Sega, because it seemed like from the murmurings that Hyenas was almost done, if not basically done. And I'm just surprised they didn't just release it to try to recoup anything, even a single dime from the development. But no, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. You hate to see it, but again, it's just nature of the business. It feels like nowadays these companies, whether they turn big profits or not, in the end, it's all about the shareholders.
Yep, and Ubisoft, while they didn't have as many layoffs, they did have a couple of layoffs. They laid off 6 employees for communication in both Spain and the US. So, but this is alongside some of the other layoffs in general. And yeah, those layoffs come weeks after Ubisoft closed their London studio, which was made up of 54 people. And earlier in May, 60 employees were let go across customer service departments in both North Carolina and Newcastle, UK. So, pretty terrible week for fucking layoffs and game closures. Like, God, we covered earlier this year, like 9 or 10 different live service games that barely lasted, what, a year?
Yeah.
Like,
barely a year. You're exactly right.
And of course, all the layoffs that we've been covering. It's just fucking depressing to cover it, but somebody has to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not all been layoffs, though. We do have some good news. SAG-AFTRA, the unionization effort for voice actors and whatnot, that we've been hearing quite a bit about, they have officially voted to approve the strike with a 98.32 yes.
Yeah.
Vote total.
So what this means is that there can be a strike if the deal does not go through, which from reports from Stephen Totillo, currently it is just nothing's happening yet. Like there might not be a strike, but there might still be a strike. But for those who don't remember, it is against Activision, Blind Light LLC, Disney Character Voices Inc., EA, Formosa Interactive, Insomniac, Epic Games. Fucking goddamn Epic. Back at it again, aren't you? Take-Two, VoiceWorks Productions Inc., and WB Games. And the three things that SAG-AFTRA want in the video game space is, of course, the usual increase in wages to help try to combat inflation, AI, and having a medic on set for stunts and stuff, which that last one, I am very surprised that that's just not a thing already.
Yeah, we're both pretty surprised about that. I'm actually... You would think that, like, for, like, stunts and stuff like that, that would be something that's, like, a given, but I guess you can't really make those kinds of assumptions, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but that is the current update. We have not heard anything yet. If SAG-AFTRA has, like they did with the actors in Hollywood, if they're gonna have any podcasting rules and strike rules and stuff, we will cover that on the show. We'll cover that one. And our final story is a very surprising departure. Hideki Kamiya has left. One of the founders has left Platinum Games and will be leaving on October 12th, 2023. Platinum says in their release notes, "We are truly grateful for his creative ideas, leadership, and contribution to the growth of Platinum Games from our startup to this very day. We believe that he will continue to succeed in his future endeavors as a game creator. We are looking forward to seeing the game industry grow into a better place with him in it. We wish him all the best for the future." That kind of... the Jim Ryan one, I think, was shocking. This, I think, was more shocking, honestly, in a way. Because
I think we were both pretty caught off guard by Hideki Kamiya leaving Platinum Games. I also think that this is a sign that Bayonetta is essentially a dead franchise now, which really unfortunate. I think it's a fantastic, hack and slash style game, but
you can't wait for all the Smash 4 players to be like, "Yeah, fuck Bayonetta."
Nah.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with the Bayonetta series if, like, Nintendo buys the IP from Platinum, or what Platinum does with the IP, or if they do anything. Because I believe we talked about this either earlier this year or sometime last year, but Platinum Games had been looking into doing more live service games to try to make more money. So has Hideki Kamiya seen, like, oh, Platinum are going in a direction I don't like, aka probably the live service stuff, I'm out of here? Or was it just an amicable split, or what? Because Kamiya hasn't really said anything much besides, like, yeah, I'm leaving Platinum. Just
Yeah. So
and where does he go?
absolutely crazy news. Yeah, it kind of curious where he's going to go because I think he is going to receive a lot of offers at a lot of different companies in
Yes.
regards to positions on development teams and whatnot. He'll probably also be really popular if he decides to be like a kind of like a freelance worker, kind of like how Masahiro Sakurai is.
Yeah,
Um,
but
I could also see something like he creates his own studio and like they do their own independent like products and whatnot, kind of like how a lot of the former Rare employees
yeah,
did
they made
with
Platonic games
Platonic.
or like
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima with
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that he could do. So
yeah.
I'm going to be looking forward to see what he's doing next.
Yeah,
Um,
it's going to be interesting. The front runner speculation for if he's going to land at some other studio, the front runner seems to be NetEase, because that's where quite a few big Japanese developers have went lately. So that's possible, but again, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see where good old Hideki Kamiya will go. Well, he'll have more free time to block people on Twitter or X or
that
whatever
is
the
true.
fuck, or
That is true.
who like post at him in English or whatever. But yeah, that's the gaming news industry this week. A roller coaster of emotions this week for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it sucks that, we're seeing, so many layoffs across the industry. I think that's a trend that's going to continue,
Yeah,
especially since we've left the large money boom of the pandemic.
yeah,
That's going to continue to remain to be the case, but we're also seeing a very strong unionization effort, not just from SAG-AFTRA, but from you know, employees everywhere. So I think that's a trend that's also going to continue, which is great for workers. So
yeah.
here's hoping, like the WGA strike, that the SAG-AFTRA strike also works out
Yeah.
quite well.
Yeah, but that will be it for the show this week. This has been Byron,
This has been Slade.
and we'll give you more of that gaming news goodness next week. Bye bye, everybody.